Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I hope you guys are able to hear me. So, thank you, everyone, for being here with us today. It indeed is a pleasure to be interacting with you all. And now, without wasting any further time, allow me to introduce my friend Hema and myself. So, I'm Akshay V. Masurekar. I'm the co-founder and managing partner of Samaksh Soul Waters. We are an alternative healing and a holistic health startup. I started this venture last year in August, and had the opportunity to collaborate, with my soul tribe to take our mission of empowering people to heal, transform, and grow forward. Hema, you can go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello friends, Namaste. My name is Hema Nerurkar. I am a founder of an NGO called Our Society, Our Responsibility. We work for all sectors of the society, but particularly focus on children and stray animals. I'm really thankful to Reflexion 1.0 for giving me this opportunity today, and I welcome you all today for this event. Well, let's not make this session about us. Akshay, why don't you tell us that what prompted Shweta and you to have this event today?
Yeah, I think that's a very good question, Hema. So Samaksh Soul Waters is a spiritually guided venture that focuses on, as I said, alternative healing and holistic health. Talking of Reflexion, it is a service vertical of Samaksh Soul Waters that focuses on conducting workshops and events, allowing people to reflect on their thoughts, feelings, and behavior. So we were kind of guided to start a series of events, focusing on self-esteem. Self-esteem, as you know, is an important aspect of human life. I'm sure all of us on this group or on this room would agree. And we all have it, but depending on how we choose to live our lives, we may either have a high self-esteem or a low self-esteem. And this event focuses on allowing people to look deeper within themselves, to identify the choices they've made so far and how it has been impacting them, mainly their self-esteem.
That is excellent, Akshay. I agree with you. We need to identify the choices we have made so far and focus on steps for making changes gradually. It's never too late to make any changes, right? Let me throw some light on today's event. We have called this event as Building a Sense of Self, and we will focus on answering the questions about who we really are, how we can transform our thoughts, how do we connect to ourselves, what should our intake be, and most important, how do we find our purpose in life.
Yeah, thank you, Hema, for shedding light on our topic. So we have experts on our panel today who are also associated with Samaksh Soul Waters in the capacity of advisors and partners. We want everyone to participate. And learning, as you know, is a two-way street. Our speakers have put in a lot of effort to collate their knowledge for our benefit. And they also have some activities for making it experiential for us. So let us participate, not just by listening, but also speaking and asking questions.
Thanks for the reminder, Akshay. I agree, learning is a two-way street. With that thought, let me introduce everyone to our first speaker, Dr. Ruta Vyas. Dr. Ruta is the founder and director of Amadeus Consulting, a leadership development firm that has been partnering with corporates who are committed to the development of their people and building organization cultures that are empowering and encouraging. Dr. Ruta has been single-handedly managing the show for the past 17 years. As a coach, she has worked with leaders at all levels, striking an instant and deep rapport with them. She balances generating deep insight with an action-oriented style, adapting to everyone's learning style. In the capacity of Samak Soul Waters coach and mentor, Ruta is focusing on helping us improve our overall practices and methodologies in order to get closer to our mission of empowering people to heal, transform, and grow. The topic for today is awakening the self-esteem.
Thank you, Hema. Our next speaker is a very dear friend of mine, Insha Arora. She's also my co-founder and partner at Evolve and Samak Soul Waters, respectively. Being a true health and fitness enthusiast and a graduate from the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, New York, Insha has been exposed to a variety of innovative coaching methods, practical lifestyle management techniques, and over 100 dietary theories, including, that include Ayurveda, gluten-free, paleo, raw, macrobiotics, and everything in between. Drawing on her expertise, she works on helping people make positive lifestyle changes and choose health promoting ways that produce real and lasting results. Our topic for today is nutrition and self-esteem. And the third and final speaker of this event is again a dear friend and my co-founder and partner at Samak Soul Waters, Shweta Velkar. Shweta is a gifted psychic, channel, and medical intuit. She founded Soul Waters in 2015 and has been focusing on helping people overcome their pain through the divine guidance she has been receiving. She strongly believes that each being is equally but uniquely gifted, and her aim is to help each one become aware of their divine gifts and power. Her topic for today is decision making and self-esteem. We make decisions in life based on our own self-worth and self-perception. I'm excited to hear their views and tips on how we can start living consciously. Now, I would not waste any further time and would request Dr. Ruta to take over. Ruta, over to you.
Thanks, Akshay, for that wonderful introduction. Thank you, Hema, for setting me up for this. And thank you for giving me this chance to come on this team, this wonderful team, to talk about and engage in this one topic that has always been close to my heart ever since I was a child. And this is one superb opportunity by which I can fulfill some part of my life's purpose by spreading this focus on self with people on this call. So thank you all, friends, for making this choice to be here this afternoon. I'm really happy to spend this time with you. So let me begin with a little gift that I would offer to all of you. So do you all see that? Yeah. So all of you will also see on your screen some reaction buttons at the bottom of your screen where you can actually click on reactions and you can use a thumbs up sign if you notice. Yeah. Okay. So all of you see this. This is a genuine note. Yeah. So I'd like to ask you, if I was giving this note away today, how many of you would want to have it? Yay! Who doesn't want an original 500 rupee note? Okay. And now hold your breath. I hate doing this. Now this note is tattered, battered, bent out of shape. Now I want to ask you, how many of you, if I were giving this note away, how many of you would still want it? But it's tattered and battered. Why would you still want it?
Maybe I can just iron it a little and use it.
Yes, because whether it's tattered or battered in whatever shape it is still 500 rupees, and it is still a legit 500 rupees and can do what any 500 rupee note can still do. And that is because it is backed by the government of India, which is in turn backed by sovereign. We don't need to believe in this note to cash it. The value of this note is intrinsic. Whether it's in a folded form, a tattered form, a folded form, it is still worth the same 500 rupees. And friends, in the very same way, in exactly the same way, all of us also have an intrinsic value. Just like this note is backed by sovereign, held by the RBI, in the same way, our self also has an intrinsic value, which remains constant because it is backed by the sovereign. It is backed by the divine. It is pure gold. Unfortunately, along the way, we lose touch with this gold and we forget the intrinsic value. Friends, just like this note, we don't need to believe in the 500 rupee note to encash it. In the same way, we don't need to believe in ourselves to use it. It is always, always there, and it is completely, absolutely ours forever. So friends, this word estimate, self-esteem, comes from the word estimare. It's a Latin word which means to estimate. And self-esteem would therefore mean to estimate the value of self. Now, to begin with, it sounds bizarre because when we're talking about our self itself, which is the life force, it is bizarre to even attempt to value it. It is invaluable by definition, but even if we were to value it, it has to be self-esteem, the value we put on ourselves by ourselves. Unfortunately, that's not the way it's going on in the world. The way we esteem ourselves today, the way we estimate our value, has unfortunately become a value which comes from others. How others estimate our value. It's all become about comparisons and about how others seem to value us. And that is where a lot of times the cookie begins to crumble. So friends, I'm going to share with you a very beautiful poem by the saint poet Narsi Mehta, who was an avid lover, devotee of Sri Krishna. And he's written this poem, God knows how many millions of years ago, and he says, Vedato emavadi Shruti Smruti Sakhdi Kanaka Kundala Vishe Vedana Hoy Ghat Ghadiya Pachi Naam Rup Junjva Ante To He Mano Hem Hoy. And by this he means, in this poem he says us that ornaments are not different from the gold they are made from. Ghat Gadiya Pachi, meaning after we give it a different shape, the names and forms of the jewelry pieces differ once they are cast into the jewelry. Yet the gold in them always remains gold. In the same way, all of us have the same divine light within us, the same living force, and we all are cast in different shapes and sizes. But the life spirit within us remains the constant, remains the same, anywhere and everywhere. Yet, friends, why do we still feel a sense of doubt, a sense of self-doubt? Why do we estimate ourselves low? Why do we begin to have questions of, am I really worth it? What do you think creates these doubts and suspicions in our mind about ourselves, when essentially we should know that hem no ho hem means gold is gold? What do you think leads to these differences in the way we estimate ourselves? Feel free, unmute yourselves and speak up. What do you think creates these doubts in our mind? What do you think creates these question marks about what are we really worth? Any thoughts? What makes us feel less confident? What makes us feel less valuable? Incomplete, unsure, apologetic, hesitant, intimidated? Any thoughts?
I feel it's mainly because of the people around her who have a perception about us, and they impose this perception on us. Many times we live in the same perception.
Absolutely. A lot of times we get so strongly influenced by the way people respond to us, and that begins to form some kind of a definition of how much I value myself. Absolutely. Any other thoughts? What makes us doubt? What makes us feel less confident of ourselves?
I think, again, our own perception about ourselves based on what we may have heard from others. I think,
yes.
Adding to what Mansi said.
Yes, yes. So the way people... Yeah, go ahead, please.
So when you evaluate yourself, you're not very sure if you have evaluated yourself right. Then you rely on others to evaluate you. And if that piece doesn't come up nicely, and you believe in that because you don't evaluate yourself at the end of the day. That could be a reason why.
Absolutely. So it's a vicious cycle, right? So the moment I begin with self-doubt, I then begin to look for others' validation of me. And that becomes my definition of myself. And when others evaluate me low, then that becomes another hole for me to fill up. And it becomes a vicious cycle of more and more doubt leading to lesser and lesser self-esteem over time. It becomes a game of comparisons. We begin to look at what people have as compared to what I have, how much people know compared to what I know, what people earn compared to what I earn, how people look compared to how I look. It's all about comparisons. And friends, we get caught up in these external trappings of what I do, what I have, what I look like, which are all the external, the cosmetic factors, which are nothing but external to myself. But unfortunately, that is where we get caught up. We start looking for external validation. We start comparing ourselves with others, what they do, what they have, what they are. And we forget what we are intrinsically. Friends, I saw this wonderful little line in a book I was reading, which talked about the waves on the ocean. Yeah. And the word relative, what does relative come up from? It says, our relatives tell us this, our relatives evaluate us. What is relatives? Why is it not absolute? Saying on a wave, on a beach, when you see the waves coming up, every wave will be different compared to the others. There'll be a big wave, a small wave, a tall wave, a short wave, a high wave, a low wave. But eventually, when they all roll back, they're all ultimately water. So the essential absolute commodity is water. But unfortunately, the relative context is when we look around and we get caught up in the external trappings of the things we do, the things we have, and that is where we begin to seek approval from others. So friends, I would like all of you to think about in your life, where is it that you are looking for validation? On what aspects are you looking for validation from others? In what way are you looking for other people to give you approval? And the question I want to ask you is that if you did not have to ask for anybody's approval, if you were to look for no one's approval in your life, assuming that you come up as pre-approved, if you were to come pre-approved, see the difference it would make in your life. Can you take a moment to think about what is it that you are seeking approval for? And if you had to drop this need for approval, if you did not need anybody's approval for your life, for yourself, what would your life turn out to be? What would you do? And how would you feel? Take a moment to think about it and tell me what thoughts come to your mind. Where are you not doing something because you're seeking approval? Where are you giving up something because you're seeking approval? What are you not doing with your life because you're seeking approval? So I'll give you one very simple personal example to get your thoughts going as well. So, when I began doing, when the lockdown, etc. started, I realized that I had some time on hand because no clients were going online with their training programs. And I had some time on hand and I thought, what can I do with my time? And I said, why don't I do an online session and raise money for charity, through my online sessions? Maybe run it online and see whoever joins in, whatever fees I collect, I can give to charity. So I was very excited and I almost sat down to make my first program. And guess what thoughts came to my mind? Of course, what will people say? Will they say, Ruta ke itne din kharab aa gaye ki now she's so idle that she has to do all this? What will people think? Ruta is charging 500 rupees for a program. I mean, is that what she now thinks she's worth? What if no one signs up for my program? What if I only have 3 or 4 registrations? What will people say that Ruta ke program mein koi nahi aaya? And all these thoughts came down to me and says, no, I'm going to lose people's approval if I start doing these programs online. And I closed my laptop and said, forget it. And then as I walked out, I said, what am I doing? Why has Ruta become a subject of everybody else's evaluation? What is it that I believe in doing? Where's my talent worth? And I said, you know what? I don't care. Even if one more person joins my session, I will do it. Even if it means that people believe I'm jobless and I'm idle, so be it. Because this is something I feel like doing. I know I can do a great job and I'm going to do it. And you won't believe, friends, In the very first session, I had 17 people sign up. In the next session, I had 22. In the third, I had 25. And by now, we have raised 1.5 lakhs in charity. And that's all because I had to let go and cast off the external trappings of comparisons with what others are doing, with what others are charging, with how other trainers are doing, with how people feel about me, and listen to the sovereign self and do what I had to do. So friends, think about, what are you giving up? What are you giving up? I know a lady who has given up wearing high heels because she thinks people tell her she's too tall. She loves to wear high heels, but she won't wear high heels. So friends, think about it. Something as small as the shoes you wear or something as big as the work you do. What are you giving up because you want approval? I would love to hear your thoughts. If anybody can be honest about it. I know it's not easy. What are you always double guessing? What are you always hesitating to do? Any thoughts? So I don't like to pick on people because it's not fair. Even if you're getting some ideas right now, friends, I'd love to hear from you at the end of our conversation. How would you feel if you had nothing to worry about? How would you feel if you had no one's approval to speak?
I think, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Ritika.
Yeah. So I have been trying to change my job like forever now because I just don't enjoy it anymore like I used to. But I have been just very scared of, losing the steady income and with the COVID situation going right now. But what I've lately realized is that I just don't have any interest in it, even if it is paying me really well and getting me to the material things. But I just don't know where to start because I'm just scared.
Yeah, scared about what people might say, scared about how others might see your move, how it might be evaluated by others. And that is what keeps you in the same place, Ritika. And this is what the burden we carry with us day in and day out, which covers up the gold we carry inside and keeps it hidden.
Right.
I think Vibha has put a very nice comment, which is we even not only compare ourselves with others, but we also compare ourselves with ourselves and what we were or what we are supposed to be, or what we compare ourselves into, what we look at ourselves as being. And that's where there's, oh, that Ruta versus this Ruta. How will it look? Will it be a loser? Will I be a loser if I do this? So friends, these are the things which we start evaluating ourselves by. It is as dumb, it is as bizarre as taking your gold jewelry and asking your street side vegetable vendor to value it. Bhaiya zara tol ke do. It's as good as taking yourself to the marketplace and making it vulnerable, making it available to anybody and everybody to evaluate. Making it available for everyone to toss about. Friends, how do we do it? Why do we do it? Why do we forget what is inside us and forget to value it? So friends, if this gold is really within us, what is the best use you believe for your jewelry? If you had a gold ring or a gold necklace or a gold pendant, what's the best use for it, you think? What's the best use for it?
Flaunt it or wear it.
Flaunt it, wear it, absolutely, Mansi.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, use it, beautify yourself, wear it, and show it to the rest of the world. And that is what we should do with ourselves as well. We own this gold, let's use it. So if I have a talent, let me use it. If I know how to run online sessions, let me do it. If I've learned something in talent management, let me utilize it. If I've got a piece of knowledge, let me put it to good use. So wherever we have something which we have as our resource, the best thing to do is to use it and to bring it out to its maximum without letting others tell us whether it's worth doing it or not. But having said that, So Mansi, when you're not wearing your gold necklace, you're just going down to the bhajiwala to pick up sabzi, you will not wear your gold necklace there. What should you do with it that time? What would you do with a gold necklace when you're not wearing it?
Usually I keep in a locker.
Absolutely. Safely locked up. Would you like put it in a fruit basket outside on your dining table? Would you keep it with a Raddi newspaper outside? A gold necklace, would you keep it in your bathroom cabinet?
No,
You wouldn't
not
do
at
that,
all.
right?
Right.
You would never do that. But with our gold, which we buy, we do all this very careful stuff of locking it up carefully and everything. But with this gold inside, what do? We cast it, we throw it, we give it to anybody and everybody to use it, to misuse it, to abuse it. And friends, that is where we begin to realize that when you are utilizing yourself, use it. But when it's not in use, keep it carefully deep in the recesses of your heart and let not anybody, and I mean not anybody, touch it, evaluate it, poke it, prod it, use it. Keep it safely in your box. And here's what I want to show you as a small image. And tell me, what do you see over here? What do you see over here? Yeah, very simple image. What do you think you're seeing?
A jewelry box.
Yep, you're seeing two things. What are you seeing completely? Sorry, Ram, you said something. Did I hear your voice? No, somebody's a male voice I heard, which was?
Ruchita, were you trying to say something?
Someone said jewelry box. I was just going to say the same thing.
Okay, so you're seeing, but there are two boxes. So what do you see as a difference?
The outlook, the design.
Yeah, appearance is different.
Yeah.
Appearance is different. Yeah. So friends, the two boxes are different. One is very elaborate and decorated and expensive, and the other is simple. But what is the mistake we make when we are looking at these two boxes? What should we actually be evaluating? We should actually be evaluating the jewelry inside. Unfortunately, we get caught up in evaluating the boxes. Bhala uski kameez, meri kameez se safed kaise? Other questions we get into. Whereas what we should actually be looking at is what is inside it. And that is where we often go wrong. But I'm not saying that we don't care about the box. So if I were to show you this image, yeah, and tell me what you see in this image. What do you see in this image? So if I were to say that I don't care whether my box is beautiful and ornate or whether it is a simple wooden box to keep my jewelry, that doesn't matter. But what if my box looked like that, what you just saw? Does that kind of box do justice to yourself? Does that kind of box do justice to the jewelry inside it? So while I say that don't worry about the box, let's at least make sure that the box we have justifies the value of the gold inside. So what does that really mean? Beautify your box. So what is your box? Any thoughts? What do you think makes up the box? If the gold is our self, then what is the box? Friends, unmute yourselves and speak up freely.
Our body.
Our body, yes. And what else?
Our soul.
Our soul. What else? Yeah. What else makes up the box?
Our thoughts about ourselves.
Our thoughts, yes. Yeah. So a lot of things make up our box. Yeah. And we have every responsibility that if we are given jewelry, we have to make sure our box is worthy of the treasure it holds. So let's make sure our body is in fit shape. It doesn't have to be the world's best body, or it doesn't have to be a sand clock kind of body. But the body, is the body fit? Is the body healthy? Is the body immune? Is the body has stamina? About your mind and intellect, are you using your mind the best way you can? Are you developing your intellect the way you can? Are you learning something that keeps your soul and your spirit invigorated? Your talents, are you honing your talents? Are you shaping your talents? How are you behaving? What is your integrity? How honest are you? How authentic are you? How genuine are you? And of course, your responsibility. How well are you executing your responsibility? How well are you living up to the commitments you have to make to yourself? This is where we can decorate our box. All the time knowing that irrespective of that, our gold still remains gold. But to do justice to that gold, let us make sure the rest of us does justice to the value of that gold. And that is where I say awaken the self, awaken your self-esteem by discovering what gold you have inside and then living your life in a way that justifies the value that's placed inside you. It does not matter how you look. It doesn't matter how you act, because those are your speech, your language doesn't have to define the value of your gold. But yes, doing all of that up will make your gold shine even further. So friends, if I were to look at all of this put together, I think it's time for all of you to wake up and smell the coffee. I think when you are young children, somebody woke us up to go to school, right? We waited, we slept in because we knew mom would or dad would come and wake you up. But friends, today we are no longer children. We are no longer little babies waiting for someone to come and wake me up. Friend, this is your life. This is your gold. Make it shine. Think about how can you awaken yourself. Think about what do you need to do to cast off those external trappings that you've got trapped into. And let me pause here for some of your questions and some of your doubts, some of your comments. How do you feel about all of this? What do you think you've been living with? What do you want to live with now? So let me stop here and invite a few questions, and then we go into a small activity. Please, all of you can unmute yourselves. Your videos will be very useful to me to see your faces. And tell me, how does this sound to you? What are your thoughts? What are your comments? Yeah. So go ahead, feel free, Archana, Trisha, Ritika, Mansi, Ram. How does this sit with you? What thoughts come to your mind as you just heard my take, my understanding of the self? And what comes to your mind? Yeah, Meghna, if you want, you can just speak up. Yeah, so Meghna says, you want to talk about it, Meghna, while it's in the chat?
Hello?
Yeah, Meghna, you want to speak up?
Yeah, I was just wondering, like Ritika said just some time back, that she wants to no longer continue with the job, but then there's a responsibility upon her now in times of COVID situation, etc. And then she has to keep going on with it. So there is no full usage of the gold that there is because of certain responsibilities that we have, certain things that we have to do for our families, for ourselves, etc.
Right.
So then how does that work with full utilization of this goal? Because these clashes always keep coming in our mind. Whether should I fulfill my responsibility or if I should pursue my goal, pursue this gold, where does this come?
No, I think it's a very good question, Meghna. I think very realistic question. But I would say that the box of the gold doesn't have to clash with the gold inside. I think what we need to ask ourselves is, what has been holding me back from shifting my job? Are there all this time, now of course we have a COVID as a reason, and that might be a practical reason. But my question to Ritika or to anybody would be that, friends, explore. Are you putting the blame on somebody else or something else for the lack of your decision making? And that's one question that will come where Shweta will also talk about decision making later on in the sessions. But for right now, the question to ask really is, why have I not made the shift yet? Am I using the responsibility as an excuse to not do what I want to do? And if the answer is genuinely a no, then go forward. Very often you might find that staying in your comfort zone is your way of just protecting the gold and never wearing it. So challenge yourself to ask yourself that, why have I not made the shift yet? And if she wants to do both, and if the answer is yes, I really have had very, very practical reasons for not shifting, only then the next question becomes valid. The next question is, so what can I do to become worthy of a better job? How can I develop my intellect? How can I develop my body? How can I develop my knowledge? How can I develop my contacts? How can I make my box stronger? And make myself ready for a better leap, which means the risk of that decision making is lower. But even before you do that, I think check that, are you doubting yourself? And is that why you've not made the shift? Are you doubting your ability and that's why you're not taking a risk on yourself? Are you playing it safe because you're too scared? You don't believe in your ability to hold a new job? Are you too scared that if I leave this, I will not get another? Are you operating from fear or are you operating from trust? Are you operating from self-doubt or are you operating from empowering yourself to be worthy of a new job? So fulfilling your responsibility is a part of your box. It is how well you live up your responsibility is how strong is your box. And it doesn't have to clash with who you are. The clash only happens when you doubt that goal. How will I take up a bigger job? Will I even get a good job? Am I even worthy of a bigger job? What if nobody hires me? What if I don't compare with my industry? I've spent so long in this company. Will anybody even look at me? Am I skilled enough? Am I talented enough? Am I experienced enough? Now, those are questions. If they are holding you back, not worth it. And COVID right now has given a lot of people to retreat into a safety space. A fantastic excuse to not do anything. But friends, there again, check what is really holding you back. Is it COVID or something else? So I hope, Meghna, that kind of gives you a thought on how you can still utilize that full gold if you take away that self-doubt. Meghna, does that help you? Ritika, does that help you too?
Sorry, yeah. I was on mute and I was saying yes. Yeah, it does.
Ritika, does that help you as well? Okay, anybody else? Any comments? How do you feel about this?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, sure. What do I call you, Mr. Saravanan?
Saravanan, yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
As you asked this question, I'm able to recollect patterns of this happening in my life, which I was not aware actually. And I feel the reason for this, I don't want to let down my near and dear ones. There was a major reason why probably I didn't take it up certain things. Okay, right? I could recollect a lot of incidents in my mind from the 25 years back to 12 now. I could feel a lot of incidents where I didn't even pursue what I want to pursue. The reason is I assumed that no, if I pursue further, okay, it will let down my family or let down my friends or let down my near and dear ones. So I gave up that particular thing and probably I suffered also because I didn't really pursue what I wanted here. So it is not because of comparison. It is because of I felt okay, they will not be comfortable. Okay, so let me not have it that particular thing. Yeah.
Right. So Saravanan, what are you thinking now? What thought comes to your mind?
I should not have done it. I should have gone for it. Yeah, I should not have gave up all those things.
Yeah.
See, they would have been happy for a week or 10 days, but I could have convinced them later on. Yeah.
Yeah. And but the rest of your life is ahead of you, Saravanan. And I think as long as you're awakened this today, the whole idea is the session today is on awakening the sense of self, to no longer take the cover of responsibility to hold us back, but to really, what is really holding me back? And am I using that as a very, very safe or a very genuine reason to not take the risk that I would want to take for fear of many other things happening? Okay. So jab jage tab savera, so when you wake up, it's the morning. So awaken the self today, beautify yourself, use your talent, use your gold. Develop yourself in a way that makes you worthy and go forth.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other thought? Thank you, Saravanan, for the lovely self-sharing.
Thank you.
Anybody else, friends? So here's what I would like friends to put for you as a small activity. Yeah, it's a very simple metaphor that taking off from where Sarvanan made a very beautiful comment. But before that, anybody else want to share some thoughts in your mind, some questions that are biting away inside, or some discomfort, some confusion that still prevails in your mind when we talk about releasing and utilizing that gold?
Hi, Ruta.
Yeah, hi, Amrita.
I feel fear is the biggest factor. Fear of failure, fear of criticism by your, how Sarvanan said, by your near and dear ones. Fear.
Very true, Amrita. You know, it's like we know our parents, grandparents, even us. Sometimes we are, you know, my mother has a pair of beautiful solitaire earrings, which my father gifted her on some anniversary. And they're very, very expensive. And now, for fear of losing those solitaires, what do you think is happening to them?
Are they in the locker forever?
Absolutely. You know, 5-10 lakhs worth of rupees of beautiful, the precious, flawless diamonds are sitting in the locker since the last 10 years. So friends, this is exactly, Amrita, when we say fear. And this gold is also 100% insured. Nobody can even steal it from you. But still, the fear of losing it makes us hold on to it so tight that we take it with us to our grave. People talk of buried treasure. Somebody buried it, na? Somebody didn't use it. Somebody else found it, yeah. Oh, I found buried treasure. Somebody else lost it, buddy. Please know that. Somebody else never used that treasure. Samruta, the question is not about what if I lose. In this case, the question is what will I win? There's nothing to lose. Once again, the comparisons come in. What will people say when I lose? So ask yourself, Amrita, what is the real question? Is it what if I lose? Or is the question, what will people say if I lose? Or what will my external self think about, like like I think Vibha made a fantastic comment. Like, how will this compare to the Ruta who's a professional big executive coach when she's charging 600 per session? Is that your fear? Is your ego, your false sense of pride, which is the artificial jewelry you picked up in the market, is that coming in your way? Or what is really coming in your way is the question. What if I lose? Ask the question, what will I lose? What is there to lose? And then look at strengthening your box so that even if you lose, your jewelry is not broken. Even if you lose, so what? You bounce back. You build resilience. You insure yourself. But all that happens only when you're prepared, when you know what is holding you back. What a fantastic thought, Amrita. Thank you for sharing that. And how does it sound to you, Amrita? What do you feel?
It's nice. Like, it is actually awakening. So fear, if you look at it, is actually nothing. It's our own thoughts that are coming in our way, that are fogging our gold. It's just a fog.
It's a fog. Very well said. Very well said. So get those damn solitaires out and wear them. Better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all.
Yeah.
And here we can't even lose. I mean, what more guarantee do you want? Thank you, Amrita. Anybody else has a thought?
Hi, Ruta.
Yeah.
This is Shefalika here.
Hi, Shefalika.
I wanted to ask, what if it's the past experiences and, you know, it's something that you've already gone through and you fear that you will go through again?
Yeah. We are human beings and our memory is always with us. And try as you might, you can't forget the past, right? But just like I was saying, Shefalika, that when you are children, you know, we have our parents, our teachers, our adults to wake us up and discipline us and to teach us and to tutor us and to motivate us. So if you lost a spelling competition in school And next year, the next spelling competition came. Your mother would say, Shefalika, don't worry, take part again. This time we'll prepare better. And you took part again because your mother was there to push you and to motivate you and to throw you into it all over again. And what happened? Maybe again you lost. Again, next year, your mom said that, now, Shefalika, why don't you try singing? That might be something you might enjoy more. And when we were small, we had our parents, teachers doing all this for us. Right now, what are we waiting for? No one is coming, yeah? No one is coming to tell you, Shefalika, now let me take away your memories from the past. Shefalika, let me empower you now. Shefalika, don't cry. Shefalika, be bold. Koi nahi aane wala, yaar. Today, 28th August, your alarm clock is going off. You have a choice. Either you choose to wake up and you say, this is my responsibility, this is my gold and my solitaires, and I'm going to wear them. And of course, there are many, many ways of empowering yourself further, but the choice has to be made first to wake up and not wait for others to come and wipe out those memories. They are not, nobody is coming, no one is coming. So if you feel there's something your heart tells you to do and your talent tells you want to try it out, then waiting for memories to erase themselves is like waiting forever. You make your choice today. Take help. Take help from a Sony, and don't go to a bhaji wala. Don't go to a vegetable vendor with your gold. Go to a good, trusted jewelry repairman and ask him, and how can I fix this? And learn how to do it and go ahead and do it. At the most, it might break again, right? Big deal about it. This gold comes with lifetime warranty and lifetime insurance. Yeah, Shefalika, what do you think?
All right, thank you.
No, welcome.
Yeah, it's food. It's food for thought.
Yeah, absolutely. So, friends, I'd like all of you to think about, how you want to now take charge of your life. Yeah, how you want to really start getting out this gold from yourself and making good use of it. So, I would like us to do. Actually, just a quick question. How much more time do I have?
20 to 22 minutes.
Okay.
Still have,
Cool. So I'd like us to do a small activity for sure. Yeah. And this is a slightly metaphoric activity. I hope all of you like metaphors and analogies. So I'm going to give you a little metaphor, yeah, to look at. Yeah. Which is the awakening. Yeah. You wake up. So I'd like you to think about how you wake yourself up. Or if you have children in the house, how do you wake your children up? There are some things we all do when we wake up in the morning, right? So for example, if you're waking yourself up, you take off your blankets, you open the curtains, you drink some tea, you wash your face, eat a good breakfast, and wear fresh clothes and go to school or go to work, right? So all of you might have a different routine to wake yourself up in every morning. So I'd like you to take an analogy, a metaphor, and think about what do you want to do to wake up this self inside you? What curtains do you want to open? What tea do you want to drink to wake the self up? So in other words, if you look at this analogy, I would like you to think about what blankets you want to take off. Maybe get out of your comfort zone. Like Sarvananya was saying, get out of some of the assumptions you're making. Shake off your self-comforting thoughts. What curtains do you want to open? Let in some sunlight. Maybe open up your mind to new thoughts, reminding yourself of your goal. Love your body, love your mind. Think happy thoughts, and reminding yourself of all the gifts that you have inside you. For your body, you drink some tea. For your soul, you read empowering things. Listen to stuff that makes you happy. Excite yourself with some challenges. Maybe a new job to prepare for. Maybe a new project to take on. Maybe a new idea that excites you. When you go and wash your face for your body, wash your mind. Wash away the comparisons. Wash away negative self-critical thoughts. Wash away, Shefalika, your past baggage. Eat a healthy breakfast for your body. For your mind, what do? Consume good ideas. Keep the company of the right people. Stay away from negative people, from toxic people and self-limiting thoughts. I can't do this, or I could never do this. I was never good at that. Eat good food for thought. And finally, when you get up and go to work, pick yourself up to live your responsibility. Appreciate your beauty. Learn things. Develop your talent. Develop your skill ability. See how you can serve the world. Think about how you can serve the people around you, and stop obsessing about yourself and how others are seeing the self in you. So I'd like you all to shut your eyes for a moment and think about what are those things you want to do for yourself to awaken that, rekindle that fire within you. How do you want to awaken yourself and make that choice today? So maybe we can take 3 to 5 minutes to think about this. And when you come back, I'd like to hear from all of you some thoughts, some ideas you have on how you want to really start awakening yourself. So maybe we take 5 minutes to think about this. Actually, we can have some really reflective music while we do this. So we go deep within, friends, release yourself, awaken yourself, get up and smell the coffee. And think of 2 or 3 things you want to stop doing or start doing to finally put on those solitaires. Okay. So I hope you're getting some time to think about how you want to start taking responsibility for awakening yourself and putting the alarm. So I invite you guys to quickly share with me any thoughts that you came up with on some actions you would like to start taking for yourself. Can I invite Saravanan? Can we begin with you?
Yeah. See, I was thinking that I should tell myself, I have only one life to live. Okay, let me be committed to me first. Okay, before being over committed to everybody else. Yeah, I have to remind myself constantly I have only one life to live. That's what my thought process in the last 2-3 minutes.
Wonderful. I love that. I love that. It's now or never.
Exactly.
Fabulous. Thank you for sharing, Saravanan. Anybody else would like to share? Shweta, Vasudev, Meghna, Parvaz. Ram, you would like to say something? So I'd like to hear something from all of you just to know whether you guys are on the same page as I am.
Yeah. So I just remembered when you started about the waking up session, I remember reading a long time back, that you should have an attitude of gratitude, and you can do that when you actually brush your teeth. So that becomes a timetable kind of set thing. So as you begin to brush, you can start thanking for all the good people, the good things that have happened to you in your life. So you could start the day with that. That's one. And then continue to focus on your thoughts, because that's what drives you for the rest of the day. And just focus on that, and maybe you can start a scoring system: positive thoughts, negative thoughts. You know how many of you are there end of the day, and something like that. Yeah, and if you don't indulge more in a negative thought, then you can strike it off and just keep increasing the positive scores. Yeah, maybe something like that I could try.
Lovely, lovely. I think I love that. An attitude of gratitude when you brush your teeth in the morning. So you freshen your mouth and you freshen your mind with empowering thoughts. And I love what you say about keeping your thoughts to yourself and focusing more time on your own thoughts. We are so much clued into SMSs, WhatsApp messages, emails that come from outside that we completely lose touch with our own thoughts. So I love that. I love what you say. Thank you, Ram. Anybody else want to go ahead? Duhita, Meghna, Parvaz.
Yeah, hi. Devi here, Shweta's mom. I actually joined in late, so I may have missed a little bit of it. But I caught the latter half. So I actually have always get up with two thoughts, which are really not very pleasant. One is I'm always either thinking of the negative people in my life, and other is I'm always finding my work burdensome. And since I've decided that I have to do it, at least for some time now, so I would like to stop thinking of my work as being a burden, one, and I would like to I'll try to stop thinking first thing in the morning of the negative people in my life, or what I assume as being negative. Yeah.
True.
So these are the two thoughts that come to me.
Fabulous, Devi. I think it's wonderful to make those choices. I know it's not very easy, but I think it's all about being determined to know what is good for you and good for, Sonime Suhaga. So let the gold also have the fragrance. Mm-hmm. And if you think of good people, when you think of the wonderful joy of serving with your work, it's a great choice. Great, Devi. Wish you good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, who else would like to share something? Meghna, Parvaz.
Yes, Ruta, Parvaz, yeah. So I was just thinking, it helps when you just open yourself up to new possibilities and thoughts. And what really is important is that negatives and positives are a part of life. So it's very important that how we choose. The next part is it's very important to stay away from toxic environments and people, because that hurts a lot, and that is what makes us self-evaluate and lose our confidence.
You're right.
The other part I always believe and wake up myself is, what's the harm in trying? We might fail, but at least we won't regret not having tried for the rest of our lives.
Absolutely.
So I always believe in positivity even though amidst negativity, a positive thought helps, and being around with positive people really helps. Absolutely. So removing toxicity is important.
Wonderful. So don't keep your gold in the garbage bin.
Yes, absolutely.
take your gold and place it where it is, because it's so full of value and it's so rich and valuable. So
Yeah,
go and try.
appreciate. Yeah. Appreciate, be happy, whatever there is.
Right. That's wonderful. I love that. Thank you. Thank you, Parvaz. Yeah, anybody else would like to make a comment?
I would want to get rid of these self-limiting thoughts. I just can say this only. I mean, I would want to at least think of giving something that I like a try.
Sure, sure.
And
Absolutely.
and not think that I cannot do it, or what if I'm not good enough
Absolutely.
at it.
Absolutely. The divine light is always shining and you cannot put it out on your own. So it has no choice but to shine. So go forward, Meghna. Wish you all the very best.
Yeah.
Thank you. Would someone else like to go for it as well? Ritika, Shefarika, any thoughts? Yeah, go ahead.
I would like to.
Yeah, please go ahead.
What I liked the most was your concept of pre-approved. The fact that we are here, we are a pre-approved, whether you call it package or otherwise.
Right.
We are pre-approved. Nothing is lacking. Nothing needs to be added. Nothing needs to be removed.
Absolutely.
So once this self-affirmation is set in, I think everything falls in place.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Vasudevji, for that. I think, yeah, I think you want to remind yourself you're pre-approved. Yeah, you have to keep reminding yourself. Otherwise, we are so often just craving for other people's approval, and we lose so much time and effort and opportunity in that bargain. Excellent. So, friends, all I would like to say at this point really is broken crayons also color. There's a wonderful story I read about a little boy who goes to a park with his father, and he sees one balloon seller there, and he sees all these colorful balloons up in the sky, and he says, wow, such colorful balloons, but isn't there a black balloon? And he asks the balloon seller, don't black balloons fly? And the balloon seller tells him, little boy, come back tomorrow. And the next day the boy goes to the park with his father, and he goes to the balloon seller's stall, and up there with all the colorful balloons is a black balloon as well. And the little kid is so excited, says, oh wow, my black balloon is up there. Black balloon also flew, huh? So the balloon seller tells him, little man, it's not the color of the balloon that matters. It's what's inside it. And inside this balloon is the same gas that's in everybody else. And like that, even black balloons. So friends, please let's remember this divine gift we have in us. It's a huge injustice if we forget this gold and keep it buried. Let's discover its full potential. Let's flaunt it. Let's develop it. Let's use it to serve the world. Let's use it in a way that we make it beneficial to the world around us. At the same time, let's make the box worthy. Let's make our life, live our life in a way that's worthy of the life that's given to us. This life force that exists within us, and make sure we live a life that we can do full justice to this immense, invaluable gift that we all have. So with that, I would like to be happy to hear any other comments or questions that you have. And then I will take a stop here and hand over to our next speaker. Any thoughts, any questions, any closing comments? How do you feel at the end of this conversation, this thought? Yes, Amrita Mali, haven't heard from you. Mansi, Ram, any thoughts? Rujita?
Pretty light in the mind. That's how I would put it in about a couple of words.
Nice. Yeah. Great. Okay, friends. So thank you very much for investing this time in yourself. thank you for taking this choice today. And wake up and smell the coffee. No one is coming to wake you up this point forwards. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. And I'll see you on the other side of the awakening after we hear the other two speakers. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Ruta, for this lovely session. I loved everything that you shared, your thoughts, your stories.
Thank you, Akshay.
And especially I think I like the story of the black balloons. The black balloons fly. What a way to end this lovely topic. Again, the example of jewelry box also, I believe, was kind of bang on. The value always will remain hidden through life, right? And as my dad also said, I think I loved the exercise about pre-approval. So I think let's just this just lets you know that we've kind of given our remote control to others, and it's time to take it back.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Ruta, the session was enlightening, and thank you so much for all the information and all the knowledge that you have shared today. I personally like your examples. Broken crayons also color, and black balloons also rise. In fact, I feel you have given us a homework, a flashback where we have to work on what we rejected and can we redo it now that we have time. So it's true. Actually, we often hold ourselves back. We look for confirmation from the external world, but we forget to lose insight for answers. That's the first step towards connecting with yourself. Thank you once again for sharing your wisdom with all of us.